Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of my survival series. We're back again. Sorry this video took so long to come out. It's been a big project. I've been streaming some of it, so if you want to check me out on Twitch, we have a great time. Twitch is a little bit more interactive because we now got channel points since I hit affiliate the other day, which is exciting. Also news, I got new skin. I think it's super duper cute. I designed it myself. I think she's adorable. Wasn't feeling the other skin. But in today's video, we are redoing my village because the place was looking a little empty. And I need to trade badly. We need to enchant this armor soon so that we can move on to getting armor upgrades and other little fun things like that. So if you're ready to delve into it, we're gonna get building. First things first, so you're gonna have to get real comfortable with my voice because we're gonna go through a material gathering time lapse. So I was gathering things in the overworld like calcite, diorite, everything else. We also travelled into the nether to get materials, so we got things like glowstone, lots and lots and lots of quartz, because you'll see. We also had to dig a bunch of tunnels in the nether because I got myself lost. I needed to get back to my bridge, which was slightly embarrassing. And then ended up finally back at the overworld, where I gathered even more materials, especially copper. Honestly, these big veins are a lifesaver. And then I got harassed by a silverfish in this little hole that I'm digging where the tuff is, and finally got harassed by a creeper, which was not on my bucket list. So this may have been a bold decision from me, but it's fine. So you might be wondering, why are you in the nether and why are you standing on top of a treasure bastion? I'll tell you. So over on stream, I've spent time designing these villager houses. There's one for each profession minus the Fletcher. I did forget the Fletcher. I've also done some off stream just to speed up time, but these were all done on my creative super flat world so that I could get a good idea. The blue blocks are there because I am using Lightmatica in this video. So if Lightmatica does offend you, I'm so sorry. I just used it to speed up the time on the builds so that we could get this project done quicker. Obviously it still took time because I had to design them in creative, but we're doing pretty good. And I pretty much got every single build in that I wanted to. I even made a new house, which I'm going to show you in a second actually, which you would have also seen in the intro. It's this one right in front of your very eyes. I think they're all super duper cute. As you'll notice, there's kind of a theme with the builds. They have leaves on the roof, mostly. Every single one has leaves on the roof. Or some kind of magical looking element, and roses. I seem to have just stuck with that theme all the way through to kind of make them all feel like they're in the same village, very inclusive, very like wrapped together, and just all in the same vibe, whilst also keeping the whimsy, because we love the whimsy in this place. So I think they all came out super duper cute. But that is why we need the nether, because as you can see in every single top window, frog lights. So I travelled quite far from my nether portal all the way here, because this bastion, turns out, was a housing bastion. So I need the magma spawner, which means I have to take on this structure to get them. I am terrified. But that's enough faffing around. I really need to watch my step. But what I think I'm going to do is block up a bunch of these holes so that we don't fall through the middle as we take on a couple of things. Let's see, can we see any brutes? Yes. I think range is the best bet. Trying to get rid of the brutes ASAP. Dang it, I missed. They're kind of hard to hit. Oh guys, I'm absolutely terrified. Yes. Get him again? Yes. No. Dang it. Oh, I thought I got the other piglin then and I was scared because that means the piglins will not be very friendly. I'm gonna light up a little bit, make myself like a safe area. I think there's just one left. Yes, I got a hit on it. This is really scary and I'm only on the roof. Okay, we might be able to see better here. I was a bit too high. I can still see them. Wasting so many arrows right now. Yes. Is he worried or is he trading his gold? That's crazy work if he's trading it. No. Need a better shot on him. This piglin brute is being annoying. There we go. Right, I think that's those ones. I think they're just regular piglins. Now to go down. This is the part that scares me the most. I'm gonna splash myself with a fire resistance potion just in case of the lava. I'm gonna make a little blocked in area. Okay. And then at least nothing can get up here for now. We need to get down there. This is gonna be really difficult. Oh, that was a good snipe. I thought I got a 2 for 1 then. Oh. Can they survive lava? See if we can snipe this dude again. We can. There's one right on the bottom, but I can only see him if he comes over here. Any more? Can't see any right this second. Okay, let's have a peek around. That guy's easy. That was good. Okay, okay. We're locked in. I feel incredibly nervous. That guy needs to go, but oh, he's just moved. Back. Yes. No. To the right. There we go. I have no idea how much damage that caused, but not enough. Clearly, he's back. There we go. He's gone. I think there's some, if you can see through there. I can't get them right now. I think could advance. I'm incredibly skeptical. Let's see. So it turns out I actually managed to get them with my bow. I've not seen any roots on my way down, and I'm pretty much at the bottom, which is crazy. I need to find the spawner and deactivate it, but not kill the spawner. This might be harder than I thought. Where is it? There. Okay, one of these. There's a magma cube there. Go away. Okay, the small ones are slightly less annoying. I'm not as scared that they can come up and get me. The big ones are the problem. Okay, so it's like a grid, apparently. So this is the spawner block. So I'm gonna do that. You need to go. So the cube needs 2 blocks of space and then a block. 2 blocks of space next to that and a block. I need another fire resistance. I'm working right above lava and didn't think about that. Another 2 blocks of space and a block. Oh, hello. Don't you hit me. Oh, it's only purpose the fact it's like a weird grid, basically. Okay, so now we have a grid. No more magma cubes should spawn. My problem now is I have to get rid of the ones that have spawned. They're just kind of irritating, but it's all good. Oh, how did I not encounter him on the way? Did I miss him? Well, I must have. Yeah, that's it. Stay in view. Well, that would have been concerning if he'd have got me. Seriously, though, I never saw him. Strange. I'm just removing blocks so that we can make the farm later. It just makes life a little easier. Also, it was so that I could see these guys. That's the last magma cube. I saw lava and panicked. It's in a grid. We're fine. There's nothing to actually panic over. What have we got? Ooh, don't mind if I do. Spare armor's always nice. This is nice. Yes, please. Okay. Dang, I thought we'd get another right upgrade. I guess not, unless we go down the big tower. I mean, we can always do that, right? It just means climbing back up to go through. I may do that and get back to you when I've done. Guys, I feel silly. I did get another right upgrade, just wasn't paying attention. But I also did go and find Pigstep, which is crazy. But honestly, we're pretty much set up minus the flooring. I did bring a waste stone so I can quickly go home, deal with all of this, and then get the stuff for the frog lights done. So then we can come back for the farm. So you can't see me build the Froglight farm because my flashback got corrupted. Yeah, so that's the farm built. That took a while. This was annoying to dig out because of all the lava. There's just like a big lava pit under here. But we got there. The powdered snow is in down there. Like, it's in. So all we have to do is get some frogs in. So what I'm going to do is go to the overworld and go to that mangrove swamp we saw that time and then breed some frogs. Okay, we made it out here. There's white frogs. I'm just going to breed them because it makes it easier for me, because then there's frog spawn, which should become tadpoles, which then I can pick up with my bucket. This might be a while. I'm back. I have 4 tadpoles in my inventory. I have 2 white frogs and a long way home. So I'm gonna basically caravan these 2 across and hopefully they make it. And then we're gonna have to try and hatch the other tadpoles in other areas, bring them back to the base too. So fingers crossed for me. Okay, so whilst I was taking these across, I dragged them up the ice because I was like, you know what, cold biome, tadpoles. So I'm gonna wait for these guys to grow up and then we can lead them and put them in boats. So then we'll have the 2 types we need apart from the neutral, which I think I can just do at home. I did it, we got green frogs. I need 2 boats, 1 for each, hopefully. Dang it, they went in the same one. It'll be fine. Anyway, I'm gonna go home now. So I made it home so that I can have these tadpoles grow up in 20 more minutes. Again, I'll be back with you when they're grown and we can actually deal with them. They've been stood here for 20 minutes. There we go. Oh, and now we just have to get them into the nether. There we go. Right. Oh, I just hit that frog through. Oh, I feel really bad now. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. If I get them to come closer and then just get them to push through. Last one. Oh, okay. Let's see where they ended up, I guess. Okay, I have 1 on a lead. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Where are the others? This is slightly concerning. We aren't even going to talk about how stressful it was to get all of them here. Now I've got to get them all the way here. Do I regret this plan? A little bit. Oh, guys, I made a grave mistake. It's already been made to be interesting with this going on. Oh, please. I fear I may have reached peak stress levels. Okay, so we might have lost you, which is going to be annoying. But you know what? At this point, it's fine. 3 to get in. We can do 3 and then deal with the rest later. I have to shove them through the powdered snow. Go through, go through. There. Now I've got to get a green and 2 whites in. Wish me luck. I'll be back once they're done. I don't think you need to witness any more of that. There we go. We should have all of the blocks needed taken off. So basically what happens is these magma all spawn in the center and then they fall down into this powdered snow area, freeze, and then the frogs end up basically eating the small versions. Frog lights appear. I'm just going to AFK this farm for a little bit because I do need quite a few frog lights, specifically the ochre frog lights, which are the yellow ones, and then I'll get back to you once I've finished. So I ended up time-lapsing this AFK session because I was noticing that bigger magma cubes were getting stuck on like the corners of where I was stood, which was really strange to me. So I thought I would definitely use flashback and take a look at it, which then I realised something was wrong and it needed to change. As you can see, I may have tweaked the farm and I may have got more frogs. I've got 4 of each frog now. So instead, they spawn from the spawner and fall straight through. Get straight to the frogs. You can see it happening right now. So the powdered snow freezes them. They get smaller until they get into their little baby forms. And then my froglings flock them. And then I've got a bunch of hoppers underneath, which fill up really quick. I have a lot of frog lights, which is just what I wanted. And I don't even have to AFK for that long. So I'm gonna go take my frog lights home and then get started on the actual video. I've spent too much time on this frog light farm now. So as you can see, I've got a lot of schematics in. These are gonna be villager housing, part of my little town. But the build that I really want to go to first is my home, because we really need somewhere to live. If you didn't catch it, I've torn down my cottage to make room. Welcome to my house's schematic. I went with very mossy, amethyst, magical vibes, but it still matches the builds around it, kind of. I really wanted the amethyst because of this, but also the build that we got was suggested by Vipava on Twitch when we were looking at like builds on Pinterest to try, and I think it came out really cute. So we're going to build it now. So I'm going to do it layer by layer. I am going to use easy place. So if you don't like easy place, that is your choice. I'm just doing it to make these builds quicker for myself, because as you can see, we have quite a few to get through. Also, apologies if you see weird items. I've recently installed a mod called DecoCraft and the nature version, which meant that my replays look a little interesting in places. So you'll see as a warning, My anvils turn into beds. So do some of my bakery items. And I haven't been able to render a replay on this build because every single thing that I've placed down here and inside have been turned into beds. But as you can see on here, everything's perfectly fine. Like the build itself is fine. They're not beds. So pre-warning you for the chaos. So now we've got that necessary disclaimer out of the way. I don't know what's happening with these renders, but bear with me. We can finally get into my actual build. So, like I said, Vibhava over on Twitch gave me a suggestion when we were looking through builds, which was called Witch Hut on Pinterest. And I thought it looked so magical and very cool looking. Very different to my usual builds in the style that I don't normally delve into. So I thought I'd give it a go. The original does have crimson, but it wasn't really my vibe. So I ended up changing it for like copper, mossy, amethyst, very magic. But the base of the mud brick and everything else is the same. And honestly, I think the roof is so cool. It's very quirky, very asymmetrical, and it was kind of complicated to build. But in the end, we got there. And the schematic came together perfectly fine. And as you can see, it looks gorgeous. Okay, that's one schematic down. I am in love with it. It looks so magical. Like, I love it. Especially when you pair it with like the amethyst down here and when it's going to be next to the other builds that have got leaves on the roofs and things like that. I think it'll look really cute. So we're going to move on to the next one, which is next door. So all the materials we need are in here. So we're just going to grab a couple of blocks and get going. We're off with our first villager housing, which is right next door to my house, also quite close to the mine, which is why I wanted it here, because it is in fact an armory, housing all my armorer villagers for all the coal and iron trading needs, because we can get emeralds out of it, which I think is quite cool. Like I said in the B-roll earlier, we've stuck with roses, lots of spruce, lots of my houses have spruce or dark oak, and overall just like a stony vibe with this one, which I think is quite cool. And of course we've added the leaves on because we can't have a house with no leaves on. That clearly defeats the whimsy. But now you know why I need all these frog lights as well, because as you can see in the upper levels, I tend to put them in the windows so it looks like there's lights on when it's night, and also so I don't have to furnish the upstairs because I technically have no need for it. And now we're moving straight on to the blacksmith. So first of all, I laid down a dirt foundation prior to this, which has obviously turned to grass now, but we can ignore that. To then get our actual deep slate, tough, everything else laid down that is the actual foundation, including the dark oak pillars, which help to structure the build. And getting in our leaves still, which are quite whimsical, but I think my favourite part of this build is the big chimney at the back, which has lava at the bottom. It's supposed to be like a forgery. I think it looks really cool. But obviously this is just not an aesthetic build. It has function, where it's going to house our weaponsmiths and our toolsmiths underneath so that we can trade everything. Again, they do trade coal and iron. So we're going to be stocked up on villagers to trade that to. But honestly, this is a blacksmith. I think it's cool. So far we have the blacksmith, the armory and my house in, and I think it's looking really cute. Honestly, I think they blend together quite well with like the roof trims of being dark oak and like having similar elements. But we've still got a way to go. As you can see, there's a lot of boxes. So up next we have the stonemason. Personally love this one, mostly for the little piles of diorite and granite and sandstone and stuff outside, as well as the use of long ferns. I just think he looks cool. Also, there's a little outdoor workshop, which I think is cool, with some item framey bits to display different kinds of stone on. There is an inside workshop, but it's tiny because the actual building's tiny. But like I say, with all of these builds, they are kind of for the aesthetic, but mostly for the function, because we will have stonemasons underneath here, which I think is pretty cool to be able to trade, especially quartz. Quartz I'm really looking forward to getting because we need a lot of it. So I think this build came out really cute, really simple. And honestly, I just think it fits with the rest of them really, really well. Okay, so we have the lumber mill, which I built on stream. We have my house, our little stonemason, the blacksmith over there, and the armory all in. The only building left on this half will be on top of this hill. So I've gone for something a little bit different, more unconventional than your probable thoughts. So we are doing a building to trade with cartographers, so we can trade them things like glass for emeralds, as well as getting maps, which I think are quite cool. So I've just popped on like a bigger build, which normally I would just do a house, but I thought I would try something different this time. And instead, I've gone for an observatory. So normally it's to look at the stars and stuff. I just thought giant telescope quite fitted. The vibe of it all, because you can see longer distances. Obviously, they usually use for the stars. And in this context, I suppose you could kind of say that anyway. But I just thought it would fit really well and have a different aspect that sort of tied in with the cartographers rather than it just being a boring little house. But honestly, I love it. Okay, so I've just finished building the observatory. It crashed on me midway through though, so hopefully the footage was good enough for you guys. I did continue recording afterwards. Also, do you like my little viewing platform? But I think it's like immersed it well into the world. I definitely prefer the way my house looks now to my previous house, but we still got all these schematics to do. So next we're on to another villager house, which is kind of on its lonesome, but not really. It's just off to the side in the water because it's the fishing hut. I thought it would be so perfect to put it over water, especially with a gradient you can kind of do with stripped dark oak to stripped spruce, which just makes it look like the water hits it, which I thought was quite cool. I've obviously given it the overgrown vibe too, because I can't help myself when it comes to leaves apparently. And I just thought it'd be good to have a place to, one, come fishing, but two, be able to trade my fish back, because you can trade like cod, salmon, pufferfish back, which I think is really good because sometimes I don't need it all. Also, do you like the little fish on the side? Sometimes he looks a little funny in this, but eventually he does get a belly back. But really, I think this build suits the whole place and fits right in with the rest of the builds. Okay, buckle in because we're going to be going through some of these schematics in quite quick succession. This is the butchers, and honestly, again, it ties in with the world really well. The colour schemes are pretty much similar to the rest of them. They've got similar flowers, they've got similar vibes around them. But there is a little shop above it, as well as there being a little kitchen in, which should be stocked, but I haven't stocked it yet, but it's okay. It's only really me that sees it half the time. Plus, downstairs, where there is that stone brick wall, will be some stairs to get down to my butcher villagers, which are there for me to sell meat back to. So, say I use my steak machine, I can sell back the raw beef, which I think is pretty cool. As well as just having different kinds of things to sell back to them and get back from them as well. But I just like this cute little shop. I think it looks cool. We're now moving on to next door, which will be a tannery. And to be quite honest, I don't really interact with these villagers often in my normal gameplay, which is crazy to say that I'm building a whole building for them. But obviously you can sell leather to them, which is quite useful, especially because of my stick machine, because as a byproduct, there's leather. So it's always good to have extra emeralds in your pocket for other things that we might need. So I thought this would be quite a cute build. So I just use cauldrons and granite to pretend it's like leather drying and things like that around it. And again, it has quite a similar shape to my other builds, especially like the stonemason and the armory and things like that it looks quite similar to. So it ties in the rest of the builds. And honestly, I think it came out really, really well. And obviously with the added whimsy of the leaves in too, which is cute. Next up is the last shop on the row. I'm not sure whether to call it a shop or a house technically, because I don't know whether it's a woolwork or whatever else you would call it, or if it's just a house that you can sell out of. But either way, the shepherds are housed downstairs, so we can get things from them. And again, it's got quite a similar colour palette to the rest of them, just with more wood in it, actually, compared to other builds. But it still does have some stone in it, like granite and things like that, which I think suits everything else well, because there is granite throughout most of the builds that I've done so far. And I really like it. It's got a similar roof shape to the rest of them too. As you can see, it's quite a similar, I want to say medieval style roof. But again, I think this one came out really well and I like it a lot. And then I start the row behind that in reverse order. So this one's behind the shepherd. It's the bakery. It's not a functional one at all, which is crazy. But this is what I was warning you about. If you see beds, just know that they are cakes. You've seen them. They aren't actually beds. Either way, this one was purely for aesthetic reasons, and I just wanted some filler builds, which I might do in future, either on stream or off camera, just to start filling the town up a little bit, because I do want to start getting more buildings. And I did get chased during this time, but I ran away. That's why it randomly despawned. But yes, like I said, this one's for aesthetic reasons. But again, I think bakeries are super cute and whimsical and lovely, and just honestly one of my favourite builds that I've done. The next shop to have been built would have been the fruit and veg shop. I don't have a time lapse of it because, like I said in the warning before all of these time lapses, it just looked terrible with all the beds and it was unusable. Although this one is a bigger build that we're going on to next, so it kind of makes up for it. I did live stream this if you want to see the whole build process and just see me yap while I do this. But if not, this is the quick version. There is a lot of quartz in this. A lot. Pillars, chiseled, regular quartz, and a lot of dark oak as well, which is kind of different to what I normally build with. I don't normally build with such pale elements, the main thing. And then I also use jungle wood, which is really unlike me, but I thought it fitted really well with the oxidized copper on the trim. So I just thought, let's go with it. And I think it came out really cute. Again, we added in the frog lights at the top because I'm not getting all the way to the top. And this is for my librarian villagers to trade lots of enchantments with. We are on the tavern, the last town building before the clock tower. Yep, you heard that right. We are onto the tavern, which is right before the clock tower. This is the last villager house that will have actual villagers in, which are the clerics, which we can trade for redstone and lapis and things like that. It's also the first time I've used mangrove in this world. I use them for the seats and the little bar stools, and I think it came out really good with this colour palette. It's also the first time I've used this roof trim, which is polished granite and brick, and I think it came out really nicely. And honestly, love this build so much, although it did take forever to do. Lots of frog lights and lots of layers that I'm not actually going to use, but I just wanted it to look nice, so I thought more layers is not a bad thing. But we're just using the downstairs and then a little basement area. But I do think the mobs are after me because I got chased by zombies in this build, which was really inconvenient. Our final build for this villager building does not involve villagers. It's for my enchantment setup, which I think came out really cool. It has amethyst geodes, overgrown elements, and of course a level 30 enchantment table, as well as having a redstone clock in here, which tells me when it's getting to night or when it's swapped to the day. So if I'm nearby, I can hear it. But I really like this build. I use stripped birch for this, which is crazy because I don't normally reach for birch. But this whole building has taught me to use different materials that I wouldn't normally use. Of course, there's elements to tie them all in so they all look the same sort of area. And I've also learnt how to build with the happy gas through this. And happy gas are kind of annoying. I won't lie to you. But the actual clock tower came out really great. And I think, honestly, I'm very proud of this build. It's something I've never done before. Okay, I'm back. And the only other thing we've done is make a project. So I may or may not have an iron farm now. As you can see, it's just a pretty simple design, but it's not at the same time because it is a hot air balloon. Yeah, so I've been running this for a little bit, so I will show you the whole thing. So if you bring your gaze upwards, there is my iron farm. So in there are my villagers and zombie. The golems fall through here and into a kill pit right there, where water pushes through, and then that little white thing you can see is a cobweb because it helps catch the items. So when the iron golems die, they drop their loot very slowly, and because there's a cobweb there, it's funneled to hit the same point. So every time the iron comes out, it catches through this cobweb, falls very, very slowly all the way down into here. It's a little cottage, like there's nothing special about it, but I built it to look like a chimney the best I can. But the chimney goes all the way through. The iron collects in this chest briefly before being sent down a massive hopper line. So here's the route of my iron drops that I get. It goes through a chimney all the way through this facade of a cottage and down a giant hopper factory type line, which is crazy. So you'll see the insight into the underneath parts that I've not done in my world, like my observatory hill and a giant cave that's next to my lumber mill. But we don't talk about that. Anyway, it's to span through to my quarry to end up where my iron chest is, into a big double chest right here. I do have to be up there for stuff to drop. I AFK'd for a little bit. It really wasn't that long. As you can see though, the iron that's been through has started to come in. So that's how I get iron now. And now I just have to get villagers in. I have 3 up there that I kidnapped from the village. Turns out you can teleport with a waystone. So I just put them in a boat. It made my life a little bit easier. So I'm going to do that with all of these buildings. I did have a villager breeder, but I got rid of that because I've pretty much got all of the villagers that I need. I've been spending time literally just bringing them all over and trading. I've not mastered some of them, but some of them are. And then I've also just been putting things away that have been piling up in those big chests that were behind those buildings. Every building does have some villagers in it. The biggest ones are down here, which is the librarians. So I've put, this was the first villager that we ever got, which was a zombie villager. I managed to cure him. They sell a bunch of things, but also name tags, which is great because in this version I don't have craftable name tags, so we don't have to do any more streams of fishing for name tags. Guy, originally he did 28, but obviously because I've been trading with him it goes down for mending, and then he has a second trade for mending for cheaper, which is crazy. But I've got like all their trades above their heads. Some of them have repeat trades. I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest, when it comes to this. So if I am doing something wrong or you think I could do it better, please let me know in the comments so I can actually change it. We're done with the village for now. I'm in a happy enough place to leave it and to finish this video off, but sneak peek about next video, I'm not saying anything else. But yeah, my village has definitely come a long way from where we first started. We made a farm, and that is it from me in today's video. Thank you so much for joining me, watching me build this whole village up from scratch. But anyway, I will see you all in the next one. Bye.